Hey, and thank you for clicking play. I've been away this week, and so I picked something up, but I want to put it in context. If you remember, this is the Matsui shoebox tape recorder that came with the Acorn Electron that I bought from England. It was working fine, and it's really weird. Somehow I knew it was going to happen, but when I tried the theme tune cassette that comes with the Amiga version of Carrier Command, that's the tape, which is a really nice condition, nice little collectible box, Carrier Command there, and that's the tape that it decided to try and demonstrate its ability to chew tapes. So you'll notice this is back together. It's been sitting in the background of videos apart, and now it's back together again. Yeah, and it is working. What I basically did was I've done a bodge. So there's a spring behind the mechanism that was losing a bit of tension. So what I've done is I looped that back over the piece of metal that it holds onto. So I actually stretched some of the coils of the spring over that loop rather than the end of the spring itself. That then added too much tension and it wasn't playing a lot of tapes at all. So then I've just reduced a little bit, a couple of loops back again, and that seems to be working. But what I still have to do with some tapes, and I've got some really stubborn tapes to play on this now, what I have to do is sort of press play and then stab fast forward to actually get the thing running again. It's not ideal, and clearly at some point, and probably when I least expect it and least want it to, it's going to try and chew tapes again. So I've been looking for a solution. What can I buy to replace this as cheap as possible? Because you know me, I'm a cheapskate. And while I was away in a charity shop in a nice little town on the south coast of Western Australia, for $10, I found this. Oh, let's adjust. Now, it's not as big as it looks. So look, here's my hand. It's actually quite small. And look, here's the cassette mechanism. So there are a couple of things in different shops, but I won't bore you with the details. At the end of the day, this is the one that I ended up buying in a charity shop with the speakers that go with it. There they are. For $10, so 10 Australian dollars, so about £5, which I'm quite happy with. Now you'll notice on the top, and of course this is the sound system, this isn't a data cassette. It's not going to do all the functions like, you know, have remote control and all that, but this says CD player not working. So we'll find out if that's true or not, and if we can do a very quick fix on that. But on the, and this is why I picked it up, there we go, $10, so about £5. And what this says, and I didn't have opportunity to test it, but what this says somewhere is in very dodgy handwriting that actually says CD doesn't work, radio cassettes do. So I took the risk because that's nice and cheap. Let's see if this thing works. Okay, it's all plugged in and ready to go. You probably can't see, but the LCD is flashing away there with the time. Not going to bother setting that right now. Speakers are plugged in. Haven't bothered unraveling the speakers. Let's try the radio. Now, unfortunately, this isn't a... oh, here's tuner. This is like a button, even though it looks like a dial, it's a button volume control, but that's okay. Definitely making some sound, definitely trying to tune in. There we go. Right, so before we get a copyright strike, that's working clearly, so that's fine. And I might just bring the volume up there and go back to that. Oh, that's max 23. That could be interesting. Okay, so that's definitely working. So the CD just says CD read, and now it's saying no disc. So I'm going to test that with, here we go, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, my original copy, because why would you get rid of that? This is an extremely scratched up disc, so this could be interesting. This will be cool if this actually works. That goes in there. Doesn't sound like it's really spinning. Oh, it is spinning. That is spinning. Says no disc. All right. So, and that is still spinning when I've ejected it. Oh dear. Yeah, that's dodgy. So I'm going to very quickly see if we can repair this. Hang on a sec. Right, that's that done. CD read. It's trying, I can hear it trying. Says no disc. So that's fine. Look, at the end of the day, that's still spinning. That's mental. At the end of the day, that's not why I bought it. I knew the disc wasn't working because it clearly said that. Something's very dodgy with that top mechanism. What I bought it for was the cassette deck. So let's see what we can get out of here. So first of all, I'm going to eject this and I'm just going to hit play, and I can feel, and you can hear a hum, I can feel there's good resistance on that take-up spool. And I'm not pushing too hard on it. And let me just, yeah, and on the rollers at the bottom, they all seem to be rolling, which is what rollers do. And rewind, that should be that spool running fast, which it is. Fast forward, this one running fast, which it is. So, in a completely unknown cassette player, do I make the first test? Do I dare make it the cassette that comes with carrier command? Do we see if this gets chewed up a second time? Would I? I can't do it. I can't do it. No, I don't want to risk it. We saved it last time. So look, I've got some old tapes from the garage here. Let's find something a bit more expendable. Old MacDonald. Old MacDonald. Could do that. Winnie the Pooh. Could do that. Ah, here we go. What about, I don't know if you can read that, Chris and Nikki's Wedding Vows. Yeah, I reckon we'll give that a go. So we'll pop that in. Sounds expendable. Move that out of the way.
Lives to each other, so that their love may grow to be the true reflection of your love for us all. We ask this in the name...
There you go. Well, so that works. And it didn't chew the tape. So fantastic. So now I have confidence that I know it worked with that tape, that we can once again try this one. Let's give it a go. Fantastic. Definitely coming out of these, both of these. Dodgy speakers. This is about where it got chewed up before. We're past the bit where it chewed. And no chewing. Fantastic. So look, that's good. This machine has so far failed to chew carrier command or my wedding vows. So what I'm going to do next is we will put in Gauntlet from this pack, because this is a particularly stubborn tape. Now I have got it to load from the old Matsui after some real tinkering around, but I just want to see if it'll play a tape that I know to be stiff. This isn't going to be the best sound for your ears. Bit of a hum there. Okay, so really bassy, really noisy. But as you could hear, that noise wasn't on the other. So this is this cassette, but I have managed to get this to load off the old Matsui. So really, I'm happy. Look, this works. It doesn't chew tapes. And the reason I bought it, not just because it was $10, but it's a Sony. And whilst their CD mechanisms can be questionable, their tape mechanisms are still quite good. So the next test is, let's plug the Spectrum into it and see if we can load a tape. Okay, so really this is what it's about. So we've got the Spectrum over here. I've just put it where the Matsui was, and this is the cable that I made up. I can't actually remember which is the right one. So we're just, I think it's the red one. Okay, and what I've noticed, just we're messing about, this actually has a mono and stereo button. So I was gonna use this, which is a mono to stereo adapter, but in theory, if that's got a switch, for first test, I'm just gonna switch this to mono. We're gonna do that. And loader, it's gonna look for a disc first, because it's +3, then it's gonna say, insert tape and press play. So Gauntlet, like I said, is a very stiff and very stubborn cassette. And you just heard how poor quality it is. Now, of course, after this initial test, I will give this unit a clean. Of course I will. In case anybody's thinking, are you mad? On. So it really does like to turn itself off, which is interesting. Clearly got a signal through. Let's play. Let's make sure we've got some volume, because that's where we'll hear it. I haven't plugged the speakers in, just so you know, because I don't need them for this. If this works, then I will obviously put the speakers in. Now this has no aux in, so the downside of this as a solution is I can't write stuff back to tape. It's a temporary solution. It's $10, £5. It's got to wait for this to find the data bit of the cassette, which we should hear coming through. Not hearing anything yet. Not a bar. I have loaded games before off of the Matsui, so I know this cable works. Not enough volume. Not enough beans. And the Spectrum does like it loud. That's a fact. So let's put, I like round numbers. Let's max it out. Let's try that again. Come on, little Sony. Hey. So I can make a note, Spectrum max, and then let's see what the Electron needs to actually be happy. I think that's the next test. I'll just wait for this to get to load screen so that we know that it's, you know, this seems pretty solid. On a stubborn tape, this is looking pretty solid. Nice solid tones. I was a bit worried hearing the quality through the speakers, but this is good. So just while this loads, there were a couple of other options that I could have bought. One was a tape to tape, but somebody else bought that. I went back a couple of days. There you go, stop tape and press space. So that would then go through to, I nearly pressed space on the Amiga then. Gauntlet. And then you would load the levels section after you've chosen your options. That's fantastic. Yeah, so there was a Sanyo, I think it was, dual cassette, but it was marked as the cassettes weren't working. And I went back a couple of days later to this massive bric-a-brac shop, and it had gone anyway, so that was fine. It was $16 as is. I thought it probably just needed the belts, but it doesn't matter, it was taken out of the equation. And then there was, of course, a couple of options for, you know, big hi-fi stacks with aux in and with tape to tape, marked as working, but at $50. And it's like, that's not a bad price, but it's going to be massive on this desk. I've got no other real room for it that works. This can sit there, and if I can get that CD working, that's quite a nice little solution there. Shame it doesn't have Augs in. Then I can plug the Amiga into the big speakers as well, but that's fine. Look, as a tape player, $10. Let's see if the Electron likes it. So I'm just going to type chain, double quotes, hit return. It's searching. Now, Spectrum was on max. Now, there's no way the Electron will like max. So I'm going to start it off at, let's go 10. See if that works. Oh, was that rewound? Yes. I'm having a quick look to make sure that's running. And I was going to say I might unplug the phono to see when it starts playing, but I can't because I don't have speakers plugged in. Oh, look at that. Loader. That's loading. That wasn't the whole game loaded, by the way. It's not that quick. It's weird. It's eerie with the Electron. And I know it's how it always was, but not hearing the sound. So that was on 10. That's on 10. And look, I haven't had to clean this at all. And that's loading rock solid. I'm excited. And there we are. It's loaded. And it's auto stopped, which is nice because I didn't think to check that. Let's hit rewind on that. So Castria loaded off of this copy that Rich sent me. So that's really cool. And generally what I've had to do with Acorn games is, you know, you get the best possible volume on the Matsui cassette deck, and then it'll tell you when it's failed to load a data block, so you have to sort of ride the rewind key, which is not ideal, and I didn't have to do that once to get this loaded today. So I didn't have to fiddle around to get Gauntlet loaded, I didn't have to fiddle around to get Sarcastria loaded. Doesn't have a tape counter, but other than that, you know, I'm really not fussed about that, to be honest. How often am I loading things from multiple things from one tape? And again, and I'll say this again, it's a $10 or £5 temporary solution, but I'm actually really impressed with how easy that works. And those are nice, easy numbers for me to remember. So volume 10 for loading from the Electron, and max for happy Spectrum loading. I'm happy. $10. Thanks for watching, guys. Catch you later.